Legends are remembered for the way they were able to impose their will and dominate opposing players on the floor. However, not all of them earned legend status by making impressive plays while running down the court. In fact, some of these legends made their contributions to the game either as coaches, guiding some of the best teams the league has ever seen from the sidelines, or as executives, making the right moves to put together memorable rosters. However, when it comes to making an impact on the game on every level, perhaps no one comes close to what Pat Riley has been able to do during his career, with the Miami Heat's latest finals run serving as the best example of it. Welcome to Courtside. Today, we're taking a look at how the Godfather established the famous Heat culture and led his team to one of the most successful runs in recent years. Riley, standing at 75 years old, has been at the front of the Heat for 25 years now. However, his status as an NBA legend didn't come from his time in Miami, as he had turned into a star in the basketball world well before becoming president of the Heat. The start of his career goes back to 1967 when he was selected by the then San Diego Rockets in that year's draft and became a professional basketball player. Being a role player during his career, he had a modest impact and saw limited playing time, but still, he was able to reach the NBA glory in his fifth season as he was part of the Lakers team that won its first championship in Los Angeles in 1972. That team was guided by Hall of Famers Jerry West and Wilt Chamberlain, and while Riley wasn't exactly a key player during their championship run, that would become the first of many finals appearances for him. After retiring and spending some time as a broadcaster, he returned to the Lakers as an assistant coach during the 1979-80 season, helping the team win the first title of the Showtime era. Then just a couple of seasons later, he was promoted to the head coaching position. With expensive suits and slicked back hair, he quickly became popular for his Hollywood-like appearance, but where he impressed the most was in helping the team develop an outstanding brand of basketball that consisted of a fast-paced offense and an innovative defense. His leadership, along with the talent of Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and James Worthy, resulted in 7 finals appearances and 4 titles in 8 years for LA, while also helping the Lakers become the first team to win back-to-back championships since the Boston Celtics in the 60s. He decided to step down in 1990 after his team failed to return to the finals. However, he won his first Coach of the Year award that season and was considered as the most famous coach in the league since Red Auerbach. His time out of the sidelines was a short one, as he was named as the head coach of the New York Knicks in 1991 and guided that team to a finals appearance in '94, where they lost in 7 games against the Houston Rockets. Shortly after that, Riley resigned from the Knicks to join the Heat in what would become a new era for a franchise that hadn't been successful in the NBA until that point. Despite now being one of the most respected organizations in the league, we must recall the fact that the Heat is one of the youngest franchises in the NBA, as they were only founded in 1988, and as it happens with most new teams, they struggled during their first few years in the league. Before Riley joined them, Miami had only reached the playoffs 2 times in their first 7 seasons, and it didn't look like they would be able to make quick improvements at the time. However, they presented the Godfather with an offer he couldn't say no to, and he joined the team as its new head coach and president with complete control over basketball operations. During his first season at the front of the team, he was able to guide the Heat back into the playoffs, but they were eliminated in the first round by Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Despite the loss, he improved the roster during the season by acquiring Alonzo Mourning and Tim Hardaway. Then in the offseason, he was able to put solid pieces around them to make sure his team could have a better chance at a title in the coming years. By his second season with the team, Riley guided Miami to a then-record 61 regular season wins and its first conference finals appearance, while also earning the Coach of the Year trophy for the 3rd time. The Heat became one of the best regular season teams in the following year, but was eliminated from the playoffs by the Knicks in 3 straight seasons and couldn't return to the conference finals. The next few years would become one of the lowest points during Riley's tenure, as the departure of multiple players, along with injuries to Mourning, forced the team into a rebuild, making Riley miss the playoffs for the first time in his coaching career. Still, the 2 losing seasons would become a blessing in disguise. During the summer of 2003, the team was able to retool its roster, and Riley acquired Dwayne Wade and Udonis Haslem, 2 players that would become key in the development of the Heat culture. Miami surprised everyone by returning to the postseason during Wade's rookie year, and Riley decided to take a step forward to help his team turn into a championship contender by acquiring Shaquille O'Neal from the Lakers. The duo of Shaq and Wade helped the team return to the conference finals, but they weren't able to close out the Detroit Pistons despite having a 3-2 series lead. During that offseason, the team made several moves to try to surround their star duo with better talent. The retool, combined with Riley's return as head coach, resulted in the Heat winning its first NBA championship over the Dallas Mavericks. The title was Riley's 5th as a head coach and 7th overall, and helped validate his work in the front office and the development of a winning culture. The following years were complicated for the team as they failed to regain their championship form. However, during that time, Eric Spoelstra would become Miami's new head coach as Riley decided to remain focused on the team's business and basketball operations. From that point on, Spoelstra, along with Haslem and Wade, became a fundamental piece in the organization as he shared the same vision as Riley and his key players. The work of the duo helped Miami acquire LeBron James and Chris Bosh in the summer of 2010 to start the era of the Big Three, in which they would make 4 straight finals appearances and win 2 more championships. Then, of course, Riley was forced to retool the team following James's decision to return to Cleveland, a move that, at the moment, felt personal for him. As he later explained, when LeBron called to tell him he would not be returning to the team, he felt his master plan had fallen apart, and despite eventually understanding James's reasons, he couldn't help but feel angry at the thought that a championship window he expected to be open for a decade had suddenly closed. The years that followed were not easy for him or the team. The Heat managed to acquire Goran Dragic with the intention of pairing him with Wade and Bosh to remain at the top of the East, but health issues forced Bosh into early retirement, and Wade decided to leave the team after he and Riley couldn't agree on his future salary. In short, at that point, Miami was a shadow of its former self, and it would have been reasonable for them to go into a full rebuild. As a matter of fact, many people thought that that's what the team should have done. However, neither Riley nor Spoelstra nor anyone on the team ever thought about the possibility of rebuilding. No one in the Heat believes in tanking or intentionally losing, and given the choice, they will always look to make the moves that help them win as many games as possible. Riley has said it before, he believes there are only 2 outcomes in basketball, winning and misery, and he will do whatever it takes to avoid misery. Or, as Haslam put it, we ain't wired like that. We ain't wired to throw away a season. We ain't wired to come in and work hard every day just to lose. And that's arguably the best way to resume what the Heat culture is about. The belief that winning is the only acceptable objective and that to do it, you have to work harder than anyone. That vision is what distinguished Miami from the other teams in the NBA. Most people would laugh at the fact that the Heat was trying to reach the playoffs year after year. Some would even ask them to change their approach. But since the Heat were the ones doing it, no one laughed. After all, that's the only way they know how to do things. That's part of their identity. And they don't mind if other people like it or not. They know they're not a team for everyone, and they take pride in it. The bold moves, the player development, the infamous training camps and exercise programs, and the free agency meetings in which Riley throws his many championship rings on the table and offers players to take one of them until they win one of their own. All those things are part of the culture Riley built from the ground up, and that's the main reason why Miami has been the most successful conference since he took over. It's also the main reason why everyone respects the Heat and why free agents are always willing to listen to him. And to their credit, it works. After a few years of being in the middle of the pack, that culture helped them acquire Jimmy Butler, who arguably makes a better fit with them than any other player ever has. The confidence in the way they do things helped them keep Dragic, as well as acquire and empower Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Kendrick Nunn, and many others. And now to their delight, they're coming off their first finals appearance since LeBron left. And even though they couldn't defeat the Lakers to win their 4th championship, they showed the basketball world that they're already among the best teams in the league. Butler is already back in the gym, and the rest of the team might as well join him soon. And to make things better, their financial situation went from being one of the worst in the league to one of the most exciting, with an excellent free agent class coming in the following summer. So even if Miami is not one of the favorites to win the championship next season, they've positioned themselves to turn into one of them much earlier than we all expected. Altogether, the Heat has turned into one of the best organizations in the NBA over the years, and it managed to do it thanks in large part to Pat Riley, who took the young franchise under his wing and guided it to the promised land. His effort in creating a winning culture has put Miami in excellent situations before, and with the loss in the finals to serve as motivation going forward, it's safe to say he'll keep working to make this team even better.